Well, hey, thank you for joining us today on the Solarity Podcast. And today we are talking about the Community Business Banking Division launch here at Solarity. And for that, we have a couple guests. We have our President and CEO, Mina Worthington.
Hello.
And we have our Chief Credit Officer, Steve Brown.
Hi.
Welcome, you two. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, so we're going to jump right in. And the first thing that we're going to ask is, it's the big question. Why? Why is Solarity choosing to do this right now? And what's Solarity trying to provide?
Well, we've really been committed over the years to our members, our employees, and our communities. And we've noticed that there is a hole in our community for a lot of small businesses. And so as a community servant and an organization that is indeed headquartered here in Yakima, this is our hometown, we decided that we needed to do what was right for our hometown and the small businesses that are in our hometown and create a division that exclusively serves them. So while we serve our members, while we do have some small business accounts currently, we put the time and the energy over the course of the last 18 months to really ramp up our small business community banking offerings, to improve our systems and our processes, to serve small businesses in our community in the way that we think they deserve.
Yeah, Sean, there's been some exodus in the market from community banks and some of the larger banks. And then there's also a segment of the market that's unbanked, that they don't know how to bank or what's available to them. And so what a great way to reinvigorate the community that we live in by creating a business division that is specifically focused for those that are not receiving the services that they deserve right now, and taking advantage of the other opportunity, and that's organizations, small businesses that are being banked but could be banked better.
So when you talk about some exodus, what does that mean? Have banks been leaving the community? Is that kind of what
We've
you're
had
talking
banks
about?
leave, and we've also had thresholds of relationships start to elevate. To it had to make profitability sense for the banks to stay in the community. And we feel like there's a opportunity for us to step in and put our money where our mouth is and back our community.
Yeah, as these larger banks and credit unions have grown, they've either found, for one way or another, found that the market wasn't serving them. We've had some large banks exit all of their branches, and some of the larger community banks or even regional banks, aren't necessarily serving the small business community well. And so we thought there was some opportunity to do so.
So what makes Solarity unique, I guess, in the way that we're going to be doing this? What's obviously we're very community involved, but what are we offering that might be a little different?
I think it's our approach.
Yes.
I think it's the way that we invest our time into discussing situations with our members, both business and retail members. We have, we don't have teller lines in our branches because we took all of our tellers and we trained them and we promoted them and we put them on the floor, and they're now all available to talk to members when they walk in the door, right? And so I think that's a very unique value proposition. There is somebody available to meet you and greet you and talk to you about important things like problems you might be having with your account, lending needs that you have, dreams, goals, aspirations. We have trained expert staff in our branches, and we openly discuss and spend as much time as possible with our members when they come into our branches or call us on the phone.
And it's not like we haven't offered business services before. We have. Maybe not as much investment and more limited options. And what we really realized was, on the retail side, we create these interviews to understand needs that may or may not be present and how we can uncover those. Businesses deserve the same. And so we now, with our products and services suite, have the opportunity to meet businesses where their needs are, versus traditional commercial banking says you approach a relationship with a loan and then you move to deepen. Well, we opt to deepen the relationship from the beginning based on the needs that they're experiencing now, and then where they want to grow and how we can help them get there.
Okay. So you talk about deepening relationships and helping them specifically. Do you have any examples? I know this is a pretty new initiative and launch, but do you have any examples of businesses maybe that we've been able to help?
Yeah, we have a couple examples that I'd love to share. Recently, we had a small business come in. They had a decent amount of deposits and lending relationship with another institution. We were able to take a look at their overall relationship to include their deposits and what they were receiving for interest and what they were being charged, as well as on the lending side. And we were able to expand their deposit relationship and provide them more value. And we were able to take a look at their lending needs and create something that was a little bit more catered for their needs. Additionally, we had a business come in that operates just outside of the city. And so it's a drive to get here, and they were having a problem receiving payments the way they needed to. We went through the process with them, had a discussion, were able to provide them a solution that met their needs. But during that conversation, the relationship manager was able to uncover some other needs on the personal side of the house for them. They fixed those. And a couple weeks later, they came back in and opened an account for one of their children because they wanted them to have the same experience as they grow financially.
That's perfect. That's the total, it's how we serve our community. It's how we serve the families and the people who, are members of the credit union. It's like being able to serve every part of that,
Yes.
of their lives. That's great. So we're kind of talking about what we're doing right now. How do you see this evolving?
I mean, we are constantly evolving, and we are constantly putting our members at the center of all of that. And so, as we move forward and we learn, we will adapt and adjust and change to be able to better serve our members. It's, we're innovative in many respects. One of the reasons, as an example, we don't have our tellers and we have those folks on the floor is because we found that we needed to be better consultants for our members. We need to be better at helping them through very complex life challenges with their banking. So I see as we move through business banking, it'll evolve as well.
Yes. There's many options out there that we have not yet presented and onboarded. What we decided to do was start with a more vanilla offering set, make sure that we do it well. And then as we learn and grow, onboard other things. There's small business administration options and other loan programs. But let's start with the basics, what the majority of everybody needs, help them grow, and then move from there.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because you mentioned, banks and other places pulling out or making it harder to kind of business bank with them. And we're addressing a need. So it's like, well, kind of roll out so we can start helping people and then just keep evolving from there.
You don't need to be fancy out of the gate. You just need to do it right.
Well, business is constantly changing, right? And so as business changes, as small business changes, we need to move with it.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I guess probably the big question, if people have made it all the way to this point, they probably have a business and they're probably wondering, what's the first step? If they say, maybe Solarity is a fit for my business, what's the first step to get connected?
Well, like The Price is Right says, come on down. We can make it even easier. They can access our website, and there is an inquiry form that they can fill out. Very short, very simple, and one of our business members will reach out to them and discuss what their needs are. The other option is they can come in and they can inquire at any one of our branches. They can speak to somebody there, or we can set up an appointment for them. The first thing that we want to do is just make sure it's a right fit, that they're going to have a great experience at Solarity, and then we'll continue on with the collaboration to determine what fits their needs.
And whether they think they might need us or not, we might be also just reaching out to them proactively.
Yep.
So you're not just trying to collect everybody, though. You want to make sure that, we can serve them and what their business needs.
Our approach makes us unique in that we do spend the time to really kind of get to know how members do their banking and how we can best help them. And sometimes that's that we can't.
Yep.
There are times when we can't, and we will be very honest and open and transparent about that. A cash-heavy business, as an example, who needs a lot of coin and that sort of thing, might not be a good fit for Solarity. But there are many, many businesses, probably 80% of small businesses or more that don't have those kinds of needs, that don't have the time to have complex banking and spend every day going to the branch and all of those sorts of things. And we have many, many solutions for small business owners who want to make banking, the errand of banking really is what I call it, not their primary objective. Their primary objective is running their business, growing their business, putting food on the table for their families, keeping people employed. And so we want to make the errand of banking as simple as possible.
Let them bank how and when they need to, not traditionally that it's got to be a 9-to-5 function.
Yeah.
Yep. Do what's important for them.
Well, great. I'm sold. But I want to say thank you, of course, to our guests, and thank you for everybody at home for tuning into the Solarity Podcast today. If you want to see some more episodes and follow everything that we're doing, check us out on solaritycu.org, as well as Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And we will see you next time here on the Solarity Podcast.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.